It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. So this morning, we were treated to quite a beautiful view in the early Thursday morning sky. Were you awake earlier, or are you waking up now and you're about to kind of enjoy this view even though you woke up a little later? This was a view that I took a picture of this morning on my way into work early Thursday. You can see the nearly full moon there. Just an incredible thing to see early on Thursday morning over the Mississippi skyline. This was in the Biloxi area. We also had a time lapse of this same setting moon from Gulfport. You can see a nearly full moon there setting in Thursday morning sky over the Gulfport skyline. So even though it looked full, apparently it technically was not completely full. Technically, the moon for Thursday only 94% full. The moon for Friday 98% full. But then by 2 a.m. Saturday, it finally hits that 100% fullness. So, say it a different way, August full moon will rise tomorrow night. It will rise in Friday night sky. And it's known as the full sturgeon moon, which I believe is a type of fish that's more readily caught this time of year. But we'll talk probably more details about that tomorrow, as we'll be on the day of the rise of the full moon. But enough about the moon, let's talk about the weather. And we saw a mostly rain-free morning. But you see this right here, this little guy, this is why I don't go 0%. I have trust issues. You know, we've got warm temperatures. We've got juicy, muggy air with dew points in the 70s. You can get a pop-up shower whenever you want, basically from June to October. Any minute, any second, a shower or storm can pop up anywhere it wants to in South Mississippi. I knew the chance would be low though, so we went to about 10 or 20% for this morning, but looks like it is 10%ing on y'all in northern Jackson County and areas that are to the west and to the east of Highway 57. This will be pretty interesting. I wish I could hop in the storm tracker right now and drive up Highway 57 and sit in this location right here, because then we could look to the west and see a storm cloud there, and then turn around to the east and see a storm cloud right behind us too. But yeah, y'all over near Van Cleve, near LaRue, are seeing the entirety of this morning's low rain chance. But for the majority of the rest of us, it's been rain-free all morning. We've been enjoying plenty of sunshine. We can actually take a live look. This is by Biloxi at the lighthouse. By the Boravage, and it's looking like nothing but sunshine there. Beautiful start to Thursday. I think we got a few more cams. Let's take a look at this one near the IP Casino Resort and Spa. Looks like there's a bit more cloud cover in that particular view, which if you get enough clouds on a summer morning, it always helps to fight off some of that summer afternoon heat. We can take one more cam view. Here's one by the downtown Gulfport area. I had this one facing offshore because there was a shower. I think it's still there. Let's take a look at the radar one more time. We're facing this rain shower that's to the south of Ship Island, to the south of Cat Island. And you can see that view right there. We're going to take that full screen while I actually dial into the camera controls and see if I can attempt a better view at that. I might not be able to do that. I think I see that our cam system is down at the moment, so we might not be able to turn that around for you. But it was pretty interesting to see that view of that shower that's just offshore, just to the south of our barrier islands. So a pretty neat view there. Well, here's a look at the rain chances as far as Futurecast is concerned. You can see this morning we do have that 10 to 20%. And like I said, it's a 10% at Van Cleve, but I guess apparently it's 10% right on you. For the most part, though, most areas are mainly rain-free this morning, but we will begin to see new showers and storms popping up because the air is warm and moist enough to support the water cycle. So you're going to get the evaporation, the condensation, the precipitation as we head into your Thursday. I will say the rain coverage that we see today, tomorrow, and Saturday might be relatively lower compared to the rain coverage that we will see Sunday and beyond. I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Some foreshadowing there. But there you can see Thursday PM, a generally 40% chance for rain along the coastal locations, 50% for some of the inland locations. And so it's another day that you will want to have a rain jacket with you. You know, we talk about these rain chances all the time, but I mean, if you zoom out enough, they're rain guarantees. I'm guaranteeing you today it will rain somewhere in South Mississippi. It kind of already is if you think about near Van Cleve. But this is a look at what we've seen so far this week. Every day it has rained somewhere in South Mississippi. So it's really easy when you're just talking about a whole 6 counties. The 6-county rain chance today probably will be around 80 or 90%. But we know that the perception of an 80 to 90% day is one that you are hunkering down for, you know, torrential washout. So as a result, we don't use a number like that, but it's a little bit of a lower number. I would call it about a 40 to 50%. And when you look at these maps, you can see that, you know, on this one, about 40 to 50% of the map got rained on. Same thing here. You know, Hancock, Harrison, Jackson, mostly rain. George, Stone, Pearl River, mostly no rain. That's about a 50%. And you go to Wednesday, same thing, about 50% of the area saw rain. But, you know, there's some nuance to this stuff, right? Like Poplarville, for an example. Poplarville missed the rain on Monday. They missed the rain on Tuesday. They missed the rain on Wednesday. They're hearing me tell them there's a chance of rain every day, and they're saying, quit lying. But then there's places like Van Cleve who got the rain on Monday. They got the rain on Tuesday, and they got hit by a big downpour yesterday on Wednesday. And so they're hearing me talk about these rain chances, and they're saying, buddy, you need to up those numbers. It's rained here every day. Are you kidding me? 50%? We need 100% in Van Cleve. So the perception of rain chances can be interesting when you're giving them for an entire multi-county area. But just understand, the bottom line here is that it has rained every day this week somewhere in South Mississippi. And because our weather pattern has not changed very much today, it's very easy to say that it will probably rain again when we get to the afternoon. It will probably rain again somewhere in South Mississippi. But the exact location of when, the exact location and the exact hour-by-hour timing, that can be tricky to get that precise with this type of weather pattern. It's the same one that we've seen all week with a stationary front in place. So you can take a look at this hour by hour here. And notice that this morning, the rain chance relatively lower. It's not zero, because like I said, I got trust issues. It's too warm, the air is too muggy, a shower can pop. You can't go 0%. It's really rare to have a 0% rain chance in the summer. The only way you can do that is if there's a high pressure heat dome sitting directly on top of you. And even then, sometimes the shower can pop. The Gulf is resilient to you know, rain-free weather, the Gulf Coast rather. So, anyway, no 0% at any hour today, but they are relatively lower, so fewer of us will see rain this morning. More of us will probably see rain as we go to the afternoon here. So I would say it's a good idea to have an umbrella handy for your Thursday plans, especially if that is into the PM hours. The payoff is that, see, these temperatures, they're not anything extreme. We're not talking about upper 90s. We're not talking about triple-digit heat. It's just a high around 90, which is, for August, not too bad. I mean, it's kind of a treat. But here's that pattern that we've been talking about. You can see a stationary front. It's still situated across our coast. To the north of that front, the air is relatively drier. This is why a place like Jackson, Mississippi probably won't have a whole bunch of rain forming there today, because they are to the northern side of this front where the air is drier. I can actually cut on the water vapor and let's see. Yep, it shows the drier air. See that brown color there? This drier air to the north. But then when you go south of the front, you don't see that brown color down here, right? If I remove the satellite view, there you go. You can see these little pops of moisture there, the purple and white colors. So that's the kind of weather you get to the south of this frontal boundary. And that's why it's easy to see showers near and south of the front. So that front being here, is one of two things that makes it pretty easy for rain showers to develop somewhere along the Gulf Coast today. The second of two things is that upper level trough that we talked about yesterday, which is basically the opposite up and upper high. An upper high is that kind of heat dome pattern that they are seeing off to our west. Texas and New Mexico, they're going to see triple-digit heat. Upper highs tend to promote hotter weather in the summer. They tend to also promote less rainy weather in the summer. Over the Mississippi coast, we don't have that upper high over us. If anything, we kind of have the opposite of it, an upper trough. And so during the summer months, this actually promotes a less hot weather pattern temperature-wise, and it does tend to make it easier for rain to develop. Remember, high pressure literally means the atmospheric barometric air pressure is pressing down, and that makes it harder for rain clouds to grow. When the water cycle is going and you're getting these clouds to condense and try to grow, you can get a flat cloud, but that's not really a rain cloud. A rain cloud is a cumulonimbus, is one that has some height to it. And in order to get that height, you need those rising air currents to carry those water particles, moisture particles, higher in the sky. But if you've got high pressure pressing down on that, you're not going to get a tall cloud. You're going to get a flat one, and that one really doesn't make much rain. It's just a cumulus, not a cumulonimbus. But when you have and the opposite of an upper high, you have an upper trough. That's not sinking air, it's actually promoting rising air currents. So as those clouds try to grow vertically, they're actually being aided, boosted, assisted by this upper trough, which actually helps the rising air to rise more efficiently. So it's even easier for rain showers and storms to develop in that type of pattern. And you can take a look at the numbers. Temperatures, they're not extreme when you're beneath that upper high. We have them primarily in the they're not extreme when you are beneath the upper trough. We have them in the 80s and 90s, lower 90s at that. But when you are beneath the upper high, yeah, it's extreme, folks. Looking at triple digits where they are near that heat dome over parts of Arizona, New Mexico, and western Texas. Looks like that even goes up into the Great Plains near Kansas, Nebraska, and parts of Oklahoma. As far as rain's concerned, like I said, when you're underneath that hot, high pressure, it's hard for those rain clouds to want to pop up. You really don't see much rain forming over there compared to near the upper trough when you have those rising air currents. And we also have a stationary front at the surface, which is an area of wind convergence. And when there's a stationary front and the winds are converging along that frontal boundary, they crash. But then that also causes more rising air currents. So you got a lot of things helping rain to form across the Gulf Coast and the Southeast today. So like I said, if you open a radar this afternoon and zoom out and look across the Southeast, you're going to find rain easily across the southeastern part of the map today. Will it be in our counties in Mississippi? We'll see. I think it will. I think we will probably see rain somewhere in the 6 southernmost counties today. And we'll see if it's your town, but like I said, it's a good idea to have an umbrella handy just in case. But there you go with the rest of the forecast, seeing those rain chances around 40 to 60% today. Now, there will be a reduction in the rain chance, and there's some nuance in this stuff too. We've got the generalized rain chances there, but I'm going to type them to give you more detail. So today is technically a 40 to 60%. Tomorrow, if you dive into the details, if I type that up, okay, tomorrow is actually a lower chance. It shows up on our 7-day as 30, but I think technically it's going to wind up in the 10 to 30% range. So that's a pretty significant reduction in rain chance, even though it doesn't look like it on the 7-day forecast. It actually is. So I suspect tomorrow probably will be one of the least rainy days we will have seen so far this week. I'm not going zero because I know something's going to pop, but I think it will be one of the days with the lowest rain coverage. But as we go to the weekend, we're going to start to see those numbers gradually tick up. Our models are keying in on this as well. Notice how the line stays pretty flat on Thursday and on Friday and on parts of Saturday. But by the time we get to Sunday and early next week, you can easily see that increase. Our computer models are indicating that's going to be that time frame at some point Sunday or next Monday or next Tuesday that we get this boost in rain potential. What's going to cause that? Look to the map and you'll find the answer. So today, what I've got here, we're looking at the moisture pattern, right? In those blue areas, that's where there's deep moisture, makes it really easy for rain, or let's say makes it really easy for widespread heavy rain to form. Today, that's nowhere near us. On the Mississippi coast on Thursday, we don't have that deep moisture on top of us, so sure, we'll get kind of our typical summertime pop-up storms, but nothing terribly significant where like multiple counties are under flood threats and such. But as we go to Friday, we're still seeing the same setup over the Mississippi coast. There's no deep moisture. There's no like dry air, but there's no deep moisture. We're kind of in the middle. All right, but then things are going to start to change as we go to the weekend. I want you to watch this area over Florida. It's going to begin to move off toward the west, and that deeper moisture, call it tropical moisture if you want, as it moves our way, that's going to be the key to probably bringing us a higher rain potential. So it might not make it here quite yet on Saturday, but it is pretty close. But on Saturday, you can see maybe not so much for us. But then by Sunday, there it is. It's moving in, and this deeper moisture will make it pretty easy beginning Sunday and probably continuing into early next week to see a better potential for rain. So you can see all of that near our Mississippi coast heading into kind of the majority of next week. So that's why on our 7-day forecast, let's pop that up, you're probably going to see those rain chances increasing in that Sunday to early next week time frame. On the 7-day forecast right now, it shows up as a 50% on Sunday and a likely greater than 40% next Monday and Tuesday. Maybe it levels off next Wednesday, but we'll see. But that's just giving you an early heads up that there might be a bit more rainier weather and more rain coverage during that time, Sunday into next week. So something we're beginning to watch for you from the second half of the weekend into early next week. We'll, of course, have more details on that as we get closer to that timing, but just wanted to give you an early heads up on it. As far as today is concerned, though, it's been a nice morning. I hope that you enjoy the rest of Thursday morning and that you're not caught off guard by the pop-up storms that are reliably going to happen somewhere in South Mississippi later Thursday p.m. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams, and we'll catch you again next time. Till then, take care.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.